The campaign season is here, and your vote can make a difference. Comcast brings you the candidates on demand right now.
I'm Jill Horner, and this is Candidates on Demand. With me is Peter Boyce. He's a Constitution Party candidate for the 2nd Congressional District. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, Jill.
You've run for Congress in the past. Why are you running this year?
In 2008, I was compelled because I saw America going into a recession. I saw millions of jobs being lost as companies closed because of the stifling regulations of these trade agreements, thousands of pages of regulations, and reopening in other countries. Millions of jobs being taken by illegal aliens, millions of illegal aliens intruding across our borders and increasing crime. I saw we had billions of barrels of oil and massive reserves in our western states we were not being permitted to drill for. Troops deployed in 130 nations with no constitutionally required declaration of war from Congress for any of those deployments. And those problems are even worse now, so I'm even more compelled to run. Millions of Americans recognizing these problems have joined the Tea Party groups, Campaign for Liberty, local groups like Liberty and Prosperity of Atlantic County.
So those are some of the reasons that you want to run, but why run as a Constitution Party candidate?
Constitution Party represents the Constitution. When I'm elected, it will not be to go to Washington to get along, but to lead the escaped donkey and escaped elephant back to the confines of the constitutional corral. The essence of freedom is the proper limitation of government, and that's all we need to bring back prosperity to America, is to limit government to the proper limitations of the Founding Fathers, the Constitution.
Let's get into some of the specifics. You say one of your top priorities is job creation. In what capacity, how would you do that?
Best way to create jobs is simply to get all these unconstitutional regulations, as I mentioned earlier, thousands of pages of regulations, NAFTA, CAFTA, GATT, the WTO. We need to withdraw from these international trade agreements so that, because they're swamping American business and industry in an ocean of red tape and regulations.
Now, in addition to that, you say bringing home troops from countries around the world would be a priority.
We have no declaration of war for any of those deployments. We need to bring our troops home to secure our own borders and ports. Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution clearly requires the federal government to protect the states against invasion. And 20 to 40 million illegal aliens crossing our border, that constitutes an invasion. There's no excuse for Congress to be unconstitutionally paying billions of dollars to secure the borders of other nations while paying only lip service to their constitutional obligation to secure our own borders.
You say reducing federal spending would be a priority. How so? What areas would you cut?
Well, we have to reduce the reckless spending and the borrowing. We borrow, we can't borrow away out of a $13 trillion national debt. The borrower is servant to the lender, and Communist China is our main creditor. We have to cut the spending to only those items specifically authorized by the Constitution, wherever they are.
Energy independence is another priority for you. You mentioned drilling in western states. How would that work, and would you have other priorities beyond drilling for oil?
Well, sure. We need to encourage domestic oil production. We need to develop nuclear power generation. America invented nuclear power, and other countries are utilizing it, and we're not. And other forms of energy. I would oppose cap and trade under any form. Cap and trade would cause the utility bills of already struggling Americans to skyrocket.
And just quickly talk to us a little bit about your stance on immigration. Immigration,
well, there's a crime wave sweeping across America. In Los Angeles County, California, 95% of the outstanding murder warrants are for illegal aliens. 30% of the felons doing time in federal prisons across America are here illegally.
So in addition to that, we just have a minute left, but tell us why people should vote for you.
Well, America is blessed like no other nation in the history of humanity. We're founded on the premise that individuals have unalienable rights that come from our Creator rather than revocable privileges that come from government. But unless the Constitution is unwaveringly defended, that flame of liberty will soon be nothing more than a smoking wick. So I want to urge voters to vote for me. I'll defend the Constitution and use it as a standard of measure against every piece of legislation without compromise, so help me God.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jill.
We've been talking with Peter Boyce, a Constitution Party candidate for the 2nd Congressional District. I'm Jill Horner.